Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. It's Kim here. And today I'm doing a purple Destash. Now this Destash, I've made 15 kits and 10 of them are already spoken for. So if you want to get a kit, you're going to have to be pretty quick at this because, like I said, there's only 5 left. So I'm going to start out by showing you what it is, and then I will discuss the other options. So the kit has pieces of fabric to make a journal cover if you want. It has laces and trims. You know, some of you may have seen me dyeing lots of things in purple. I did so much stuff. And then cut it all up and created the kits. And then I started saying, well, what about if they want this? Or what if they want that? So then I have another little bit of slow stitching type stuff and some embellishments and different things. So we're going to start out with the larger pieces of fabric. And the fabrics are, for the most part, about 12 inches by 15 inches. So it's more than enough to cover a journal, to do a journal cover. And there should be lots left over as extra little bits and pieces. And like this fabric is a really nice weight cotton, and it is perfect to be a base, you know, for a journal, which is, you know, when you see all the things that can go on top of it, you'll get why. So you can use it as a base or a lining or whatever, but here's piece number 1. And then I have a piece of this in this white with the lilac flowers. And then, now each kit will vary slightly because I didn't have enough fabric to do every kit exactly the same, but this is a piece of kind of quilting cotton. And you can see this one's a little bit longer. It might be a little bit shorter, but it might be the right length, and it might be these other ones that are bigger. I tried to give you at least 12 by 15, and you know, if there was a little bit left over, I gave you the little bit. So there's 3, and then there's these are all cotton so far. And here's number 4. Now this is one that I dyed. And it's got the purple and then these roses with the leaves on it. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then here is number 5. So each kit has 5 full-size pieces. Now this is a sheer fabric. As you can see, the fabric underneath. It's got some rhinestones in it. And lovely to either cut out the pieces and use individually as appliques, or you can use it as an overlay on your base fabric, or you know, cut it up in bits and pieces however you like, further enhance it. So that's the 5 full-size fabrics. And then I started to give you smaller pieces. So the first one I started was this one here. So you could use these as overlays on your journal pages and stuff. And then this piece, it might be larger or smaller in your package depending on how I was able to cut out these little decals, or like they're little just appliques that are sewn right onto the fabric. It's a stretchy, meshy type fabric, but really nice to use as, again, overlays and slow stitching and that type of thing. So there's that. And every kit will vary slightly. You know, if you didn't get this fabric, you got something that's nicer. Or vice versa. If you didn't get that fabric, you got something that was nicer. Everybody got nice kits. This is a really coarse, heavier cotton, but again, nice for slow stitching. You might have gotten a piece of Paris. This one I attempted to dye. It did take a little bit of color, but not very much. I think it's got, it's too much synthetic in there, but the appliques will be nice to cut out. Another piece of cotton. A floral print. The colors are anywhere from dark purple to plum colors and everything in between. So this one's got a smaller print on it. And then you get a few free threads with every purchase. Extra threads. Another piece of cotton that was dyed. Now some of the cottons dyed well, some didn't. This is a pre-made quilting piece. This one's a silky kind of material. This is part of a handkerchief. So what I did is I dyed a whole pile of them, and most of the handkerchiefs that I dyed were not in great shape. So sometimes I only got, like I cut these into 4, so sometimes I only got 3 corners, sometimes I only got 2 corners. Sometimes I had so many little holes in between that I cut it up and it went into the next level of cuts. So here's one where I have the trim on the corner. So you might find little flaws, but they're all fun for slow stitching and adding on top of things. Like look at the colors that are coming through here already. I should be spreading these out, right? So there's a nice kind of, oh here, upside down. It's kind of a plum color, and this one has very small florals. You may have gotten 2 pieces the same, because if I had left over when I went through the 15, I started again. And then we get into some laces. So there's some overlays that are done, and some of them are very subtle lilac colors, and you may not pick it up now in this video, but they do show when you see it in person. And some of them took on a hue of pink. Every fabric was different. So here's the laces coming through now. This one turned out nice. So you got all shades. I made sure every kit got dark and light colors, so that you can mix and match. You don't want everything to match perfectly. You want a little bit of contrast. And like I said, every kit is different. You may have this in kind of more of a dark plum color. Because I dyed things in batches, and then however as the dye faded, it became lighter. Then I started adding violet, and then it turned into more of a plum color. And then this was a curtain, and I cut the panels so that everyone got at least 1 flower, and then this fancy little piece here that can be used as an overlay. This could also be used for slow stitching. So everyone got a panel like that. And then, you know, we love our sparklies, or at least I do. So everybody got a piece of this. And, you know, in cutting these, they're not always perfectly straight, because, you know, this stuff slips and slides. Same with, you know, some of the mesh and the nettings that you're going to see. It's nearly impossible, but I gave you a big enough piece that you can cut it any way you like. Some sequin materials, and of course the sequins didn't dye, but the fabric did dye purple behind it. And then another shiny piece. Like I said, everybody got different ones, so whichever one you got, you know, you may have something completely different. And then there is starting the trims. And so there is, and most of these are 1 yard. So this is a yard of gathered lace in purple. In purple. They're all in purple. And here's another gathered lace in a dark purple. Sort of a eggplant almost. And then I gave you that same fabric. I gave you a shabby ribbon. This is a good length of piece that you can cut up to embellish other pieces or make a snippet with. And then same with a piece of cotton, the same kind of idea. It's a long shabby piece that you can use in either little bits and pieces or as making ruffles or belly bands. And then there are 3 flat laces, but again, you may have 2 flat laces and 3 gathered. You might have something completely different. But, you know, I gave you a little bit of everything. So this has got an eyelet. I'm pretty sure everybody has an eyelet because I did a lot of this. And it's 1 yard plus. And then some other lace and another lace here. So we'll just lay that down on top like this. And then there's some smaller laces and trims, whether they're flat or gathered. I gave some of each of the colors. So you can see the color combination is really fun now, isn't it? And then some picot edge ribbon. Great for making flowers. You've seen me make these little flowers, and all you need is 3 inches to make a really pretty flower. Some organza ribbon in kind of a plum color. And then if you watch my video where I showed the florist ribbon and how to use it, this is just a florist ribbon in 1.5 inch wide, I think it is. Yeah, 1.5 inch wide. So if you want it to be not nice and soft and pliable, you just would soak it in some hot water for a little while and scrunch it up, and then it becomes like this, where it feels like seam binding. And this is a nice width that's almost like a sari silk once you soak it in water. And then I've added 2 1 yard lengths of pearls in this kind of plum color and in gold. And the reason I added the gold is kind of, you know, there are pieces in here that have little flecks of color and stuff to work with. So I added in, you know, just to complement, you know, maybe you want to add it a little bit onto some trim or a ruffle. This goes really nice down the center of a ruffle. So easy to use, and there's lots of it here, and same with this one. So there's over a yard for each one. And then I went into making, because I had lots of offcuts. You know, when you cut 15-inch pieces, there's always a little bit left over this way, or sometimes there's a strip or whatever. And I really wanted to see it all gone. So I'm just going to slide this over a little bit here if I can. I'll grab it from here, I think. I'm just going to move it over a little tiny bit so that I can add more onto here. So I made up what I call a slow stitch kit, but it's also got the embellishments in it and all kinds of goodies to go with it. So let's start with the scrappy bits of fabric and trims. So again, I had offcuts from everything I was doing. I just put them all in a big pile, and then I went 1, 2, 3, 4 to 15, and I just kept going. And then I had to go and cut more because I didn't feel that there was enough. So this is a piece of tulle, and tulle is another one of those things that's impossible to cut straight, but you get a good sized chunk here. I use it to back behind other things. And then I gave you a shiny piece of gold as well. So this is all part of what I'm calling the slow stitch kit that's included in all this. And if you ever go and price out slow stitch kits online, you know, at Etsy and some of these other places that are selling slow stitch kits, I guarantee you they are way more expensive than all of my stuff put together here. So then here's a little shiny piece. So this has some sequins, but again, every package is different. Here's another piece of that shiny. There's a little piece of cotton. And if you didn't get a shiny this, you got a shiny that. Another piece of cotton, another piece of that same that I showed you at the beginning. Here's a couple of appliques that are right on the fabric. I was able to get exactly what I needed for everybody. And another piece of cotton, cotton. Now here is a piece of that handkerchief that I was talking about, and this one's got a little tiny hole in it. So some of them are going to have flaws, but my idea was that you can use the lace trim, and then there's still a piece of fabric here. So again, it's for slow stitching and doing little snippets, and there is a lot of stuff here to make all these extra little goodies to go with your journals. And you know, you'll get 2 or 3 good journal covers out of here. Maybe you have to add a few extras in on your own, but there's a lot of stuff here to play with. And another piece of fabric here. And then here is a piece of, this was the offcut on a garment, but I just loved how this looked and I had so much of it. So I dyed it purple and it turned out so pretty. And here's an example of if you take the pearls and just slow stitch them or hand stitch them on to your project, and you have a really nice trim, just like that. Pieces of ribbon, ribbons and silk cords. Here's a fun trim. This could be used individually and make like little tiny frames out of it, or used in pieces. Another piece for slow stitching. Love this fabric. Another piece of fabric. Then I have a crochet doily, and you know, you may have got this dark purple, you may have gotten the lighter lilac, you might have gotten the plum color. Here's an applique in with purple flowers on it. And then I gave, well, here's more ribbon and more silk cord here. Oh, I see another piece of trim. This is the trim I just got. And then I gave some fibers as well. And then some gold bling, because we love bling, right? And then I had some, I added some sequin trim. Now some got this color, the rainbow color, and some got gold. It depended on how again, how the kit went. And then this is a strand of really cute purple beads that you can use individually, because it's on a wire or a plastic cord, so you can use it individually or make yourself a piece of jewelry, or use it as a whole thing to make a tassel. And it's brand new in the package. Everybody got one of these for sure. And then I added in, these are all the dyed flowers that I did. So there's purple and kind of a mauvey purple or mauvey pink color as well. And last but not least, I added 4 purple dangles that are purple with gold accent. So that is my Destash kit in purples. Like I said, 10 of them are already spoken for. So Thriftees, you are part of the 10. So if you want a purple Destash kit, just leave me a comment below in this video and it will be going into your box. The other people that I've already arranged to get kits to, they know that the kit is coming to them. And then that leaves me 5 kits left over. So those 5 kits will eventually, not yet, but probably sometime this next week, go up for sale on Coffee, because I do have plans to do a huge Coffee or a huge Destash online in a different way. But if you really want a kit and you don't want to wait for me to put it up on Coffee, there is an alternative. So the kit will be $30 and it'll be $15 to ship it to you. I think that's a pretty fair price for all of these hand curated pieces to make a journal or several journals with. And if you want it right away before I get it up on Coffee, then I would suggest that you private message me, and it would be by e-transfer only. That's the only way you're going to get it ahead of time, is if you e-transfer. And if you get it ahead of time and you e-transfer, then the kit costs you $25 plus $15 shipping, so it's $40. So otherwise, once it goes up onto Coffee, then you're dealing with PayPal, and so that's why I'm charging $5 extra on PayPal for PayPal, because then I have to pay fees to Coffee, I have to pay fees to PayPal, and it goes on and on. And with PayPal, they don't care if the shipping is $15. They still charge you a fee for the whole amount, dollar value. So I actually have to take it off of the shipping as well. So yes, if you want it ahead of time, then you need to private message me, or, you know, arrange with me to, you know, you can leave a comment below that you want it now, and then we will private message to do the e-transfer, and I will box it up and get it out to you. And of course, you know, if I can squeeze a few more things into a box, I always add a few extra goodies for you. So you never know what you're going to find in this box. I'm kind of guessing it might be a little bit purple, but, you know, it could be other things as well. So that's it. That's all for my video. And Thrifties, if you want one, by all means, do say you want one down in the comments below, and it'll be added to your box. If a Thrifty doesn't take one, then it'll go into the backup for 2 weeks. And then the backup Thrifties have the opportunity to take advantage of it as well. This will be the last major kit that I do online for a while, because this is time consuming and intense, and then I had all the dyeing that I did as well. But there will be others in the future, just not for a while. So that's it. That's all. I thank you all for watching, and I wish you all a very creative day and a creative week, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. One last little thing, there won't be a slow stitch video for Sunday this week because this is Sunday. Thank you so much. Bye for now.